In this video, you're going to learn about fractional stitches for cross stitch. Hey there, this is Sarah with Notorious Needle bringing you a radical cross stitch design. And by the end of this video, you're going to know quarter stitch, half stitch, and 3/4 stitch for cross stitch. Let's get right into it. I am working on this poop emoji pattern. It's going to be really cute when it's done. And I have come to a point in the pattern where I need to do a fractional stitch. So I'm going to do a quarter stitch. Now, a quarter stitch is really just 25% of a cross stitch. On every fabric, you have your fabric square. And on Aida cloth, which is what I'm working with 11 count Aida cloth. When you're working with Aida cloth, you can easily see the fabric square, right, made up of 4 holes surrounding a square. And each cross stitch fills 1 fabric square. So a quarter stitch will fill a quarter of a fabric square. We have a super duper close-up of the Aida cloth. And you may be able to see that each fabric square has 2 main pieces. Some are vertical and some are horizontal. So you have 2 strings here and 2 strings here. So on the back of these 2 vertical stitches, you will have 2 horizontal stitches. So when you do a quarter stitch, you want to get in between the 2 stitches in the front, the 2 fibers in the front, and the 2 fibers in the back. Well, let me see if I can do this. Well, it's really super duper zoomed in for you. Now I'm going to flip this over and look at the back. Okay. You can see that I didn't quite make it in between the 2 fibers in the back. So I'm going to pull out my needle ever so slightly and then get it in between 2 fibers in the back. And there we go. Now you can see that the needle splits the 2 fibers in the back and the 2 fibers in the front. And when I pull this through, you have a quarter stitch. So next in my little poop emoji pattern, I'm going to do a 3/4 stitch, and this time I start the quarter part of the 3/4 stitch from the back. So I do, let's see, which way am I going? This way. I try to get the needle in between the 2 fibers here, and voila, I am in between the 2 fibers on the front. And that's the most important part, right? If you're trying to poke the needle directly in the middle of the fabric square on Aida cloth, the most important thing you need to remember is to just get between the 2 fibers on the front, because really nobody can tell from the back. So my quarter stitch from the back goes like that on this little poop emoji pattern, and then I'm going to finish with a 3/4 stitch, just as I would finish a cross stitch. And there you see the 3/4 stitch right here, which is made up of a quarter stitch and a half stitch. Now on a cross stitch pattern chart, you can tell that the chart is calling for a 3/4 stitch or a quarter stitch because the chart square on the grid is split in half diagonally, and 1/2 of the square on the pattern chart grid diagonally will have your color symbol, and the other half may be blank or have another color symbol. And it's your choice to do either the quarter stitch or the 3/4 stitch. So it depends on what you want to do in your particular project. So in my poop emoji pattern, here's what the top looks like. I wanted to do a 3/4 stitch for the very tippity top of my little poop emoji because I wanted to make sure that that lonely little square would have full coverage. And then the rest of the diagonal stitches that you see, I chose to do a quarter stitch. Okay, next I'll show you half stitch. Half stitch is just the first part of a cross stitch. Now if you're going to do half stitch, it's just like this. And that's it. That's half stitch. Half stitch are shown on a pattern chart like this. Little slashes. And the slashes on the chart indicate how the slashes should go on your project when you're stitching it. Whereas fractional stitches are to help round out the pixelated squares in a cross stitch pattern and create edges, half stitches are designed to create a textured look, and they often use a color that's already in your pattern. So I'm going to finish out this little poop emoji pattern, and if you'd like to see how it looks finished, you can go to the next video where I show you how to backstitch. And if you'd like to learn more about cross stitching in general or where to begin, you can check out the rest of the Cross Stitch Beginners playlist. Stitch on! What? What's my t-shirt you say? Star Trek! Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra.